Welcome into the EMAW Online Fast Break. Mason both Alec Bussey with you here from EMAW Online. Wildcats get a big victory over UTRGV tonight. It was the most points K-State had put up in a season opener at 93 since 2014. They did it against Southern Utah. I believe that was the Brandon Bolden block game where he committed the turnover but then turned around and just annihilated that poor Southern Utah kid. So that was good. Wildcats also had 6 players in double figures tonight. It's the first time that's happened since that 2016 non-con game against Colorado State in the Pepsi Center in Denver. So a lot of good things happened for K-State tonight. Number one, Jerome Tang got a win. There are some Big 12 teams that are not able to say that after night one. Oklahoma loses to Sam Houston State. Who else lost in the Big 12 tonight? I'm pretty sure somebody else fell. TCU flirted with danger with Arkansas Pine Bluff, who is never a good basketball team. So K-State putting away UTRGV was a very good start. A lot of guys to choose from that stood out, but who's the number one guy for you?
Yeah, to me it's Marquise Noel. I feel like he was K-State's best player tonight. I think he finished with 14 points. He had 6 or 7 assists on the night. And I think he's starting to show that he's maybe getting a little bit more comfortable in the offense and the schemes that they're trying to run, which is something that Coach Tang and players have kind of talked about, turnovers being an issue, and I think that's something you kind of see get worked out a little bit more. You play with the guys, you play within the system, so I thought Marquise Noel was really impressive, and I thought Keontae Johnson was really impressive for a short stretch there in the first half. He obviously had those 2 back-to-back threes that kind of put K-State away, I guess you kind of say, even though it was before the 10-minute mark of the first half. So I thought Keontae Johnson finished with 11 points and played a pretty good game, but those 2 threes he had were strong.
Yeah, Keontae Johnson was good and impressive again. That guy just stands out. You can tell why. He was a preseason SEC Player of the Year, and ultimately if he's at 100% health and things go right for K-State, he's definitely going to be in the conversation, I think, for a first-team All-League selection. Marquise Noel is another guy. You can tell his play has gone to a different level. Less turnovers to start the season. He also looks more comfortable and better at selecting which threes he takes, and he talked about it the offseason. He's put in a ton of work to get better at three-point shooting, so that was impressive. And I mentioned it, right after the game ended on the site, but I think K-State has determined what their big 3 is, essentially. Naquan Tomlin is in that mix too, and once he learns how to actually shoot the basketball, he's going to be in an even better position.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's going to happen this year. His shot mechanics aren't completely broken, I don't think, but he does have a really high release. Maybe can bring that down just a little bit, which is odd to say. Normally you want to bring a release up. But also his shot kind of arcs almost a little bit too high in the air. And while it's good to see that he has the ability and the confidence to shoot it from the perimeter, he did go 0 of 3 tonight. I don't think he made one in the exhibition game. So those are things that are maybe a little bit of a concern from his perspective. Now he is strong in his ability to put the ball on the floor and get to the rim, but developing that ability to shoot it from the perimeter is something that was a concern for him coming into K-State. And through 2 games that we've had a chance to see him, I think he's 0 of 5 from behind the 3-point line. So
last thing to keep in mind from this game and something that you could tell in the Washburn game, it goes with what Coach Tang said about turnovers. This team is playing at a very frenetic pace right now. They kind of go with their hair on fire, where it's hot potato. They don't necessarily know sometimes in the half court who needs to have the ball, what the roles are. A lot of that just goes with being a team that a lot of these dudes haven't seen a ton of time on the floor, or at least recently. In addition to that, only 2 of them played together last year, so there's still a lot of learning and growth that will happen. Good opportunity to learn more about this team will be on Friday when they tip off at 6 o'clock on the road at Cal. The game's on the Pac-12 network, so do your best to try and locate that one. But that will be the first road test of the season for K-State. They'll be back here in this building a week from Thursday when they will take on Kansas City, formerly UMKC. The Roos lost tonight to MIAA opponent Lincoln, who was really bad in the MIAA last year. So maybe a very similar shade of a blowout when the Roos come to town next week. But for the time being, the focus is on to Cal. And that'll do it for Alec and I here from Bramlage Coliseum.